This is the Surly Grognards for November 12th, 2019. This is Peter Bowman, and as always, I'm joined by my good friend and co-host, Eric Carlson. How are you doing tonight, Eric?
I'm doing all right.
Excellent. So, we were talking... Okay, we've got a plan for tonight's episode, but I want to talk about something else first. Because we started talking about something before we started on stream, before we started recording. And I thought we should talk about it on the podcast, on the show, because it's funny.
Because it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's exactly the kind of thing we should be talking about on the show.
It really is, honestly. So we were nattering on, and Eric basically, you said something about, it should involve... I was going to say something and forgot what it was, and Eric asked me if it involved space monsters, and I said, I have no idea. But I mean...
To which I said, everything's better with space monsters.
Which I pointed out, well, yeah, even D&D has had space monsters. The Barrier Peaks module back in basic D&D days.
Yeah, way back in the day.
So the Barrier Peaks, basically, it's one of those modules that's about an area less than about a fixed adventure. So basically, the players stumble across what is actually a wrecked spaceship, a spaceship that crash landed on the planet, and you find all sorts of scribbly space monsters and all sorts of weird tech that the characters have no idea what the frack any of this is. And one of the notable things is that there is in there a communicator, a pair of communicators, that are shaped a lot the way you'd imagine blaster pistols would be shaped like. And there's a blaster weapon that looks exactly like your typical sort of Star Trek communicator. That are in there entirely to screw with the players. So they will someone will accidentally kill themselves by trying to use the communicator.
And I was just thinking, that's some Gygaxian bullshit there.
It is so old school.
That is old school, fuck with your players, Gygaxian bullshit. How dare you bring meta knowledge into my game?
Yeah, I mean... Eric, have you ever actually played Tomb of Horrors?
Tomb of Horrors? I don't think so.
Because that's the that is the ultimate expression in many ways of Gygax's methodology. Now, I mean, there are reasons it's designed the way it is, but the amount of just ways your characters can die in horrible and gruesome ways. That
I've read about the Tomb of Horrors. That's the one with the tomb tomb built into a skull-shaped hill, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, I've read about it.
It's filled with death traps of various sorts, and most of them you can't beat mechanically. You have to beat them by thinking your way around them. And some of them you just have no hope to survive. Make your time. It was basically designed as a tournament module, and sort of basically the thing was designed
to weird me out that Dungeons and Dragons tournaments were a thing.
Yeah. Well, so sort of see how far and how quickly and how far into the module your party can get, how quickly you can get through it, and how many players will actually survive it. Yeah. They're basically, you take your party in, it's a non-canon adventure to see, how deep in you can get.
It was so weird that was a thing.
I know.
It just seems kind of contrary to the whole idea.
Yeah, but then you remember what Dungeons and Dragons grew out of?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
And you're like, yeah, this is back in the day when, this grew out of a game that was played by wargamers. So, of course, they were going to try to think of a way to make it competitive.
And it makes sense knowing that knowledge, but it's so contrary to how D&D ended up being played, even just a few years into...
you fast forward... Box. Yeah, you fast forward into... Well, I mean, Tomb of Horrors was well past Redbox.
Sure. But it was just still, I didn't know anyone that played from back then that did the tournament.
Yeah, I didn't either, but I remember reading in Dragon magazine about the tournaments that happen at Gen Con and shit. And I remember not clicking with me. And then hearing about it again when I got to high school and going, the fuck? That's like like 6 years later. It's like tournament D&D, and then seeing that stuff come up again in Knights of the Dinner Table, the comic book,
Oh shit, yeah.
and like looking at it, I'm like, yeah, that's basically how they probably were the tournaments. Because the Knights of the Dinner Table really is like, if you look at the characters in that, they are caricatures of role players in a lot of ways, but they
Yep.
also harken back to a lot of the attitudes players had back in the early '80s. Like there's
Like yeah. Like the totally munchkin like power gaming bullshit.
and also how dedicated to the way the game weirdly how dedicated to the game's rules players were then too.
Yep.
Like modern games are a lot more like, a lot of them are like, there are a bunch of them are more mechanically complex, more mechanically robust, but people are much more willing to just hand wave the rules when it doesn't fit in with the story these days.
Yeah, yeah. That rule of cool is the first rule.
That wasn't the way it used to work. No,
I
no, no,
do
no.
remember, like playing with like the old bikers back in high school, and like having one guy who was all about like the rules and the way they work, and the rule of cool didn't think the rule of cool should be a thing.
Right. I mean, I can even accept like not being sort of super into the rule of cool, but I do think that the rules should take a backseat occasionally to the narrative. Not
Yes.
necessarily it being cool, but if do the rules stop the story from making sense?
Right.
And if they do, then you probably should, work your way around the rules a little bit there. This is nothing new to anybody who's listening to our show for a while now, though.
Yeah,
This is our
that's
attitude on
something
this.
We are 100% in agreement with. Like there are some things that are if you wave it, it breaks the system. There are some things that just
Oh, sure.
your first level bard with 8 strength cannot like power lift the cart full of lead ingots to save the small child.
I'm sorry, that's just not a thing. Why did you not dive and grab the child, you dumb butt?
So I was too busy flirting with his mom. Stereotypical bard.
That thankfully I've never actually played with.
Neither have I, but it's a fun stereotype.
Oh, it is
It's
entertaining.
a fun joke of a stereotype, rather.
Yes. At any rate, we do have an actual plan for tonight, other than nattering about old school D&D, which is fun, but like it's like we can only go so far with that without I mean, there's not only so much we can say about old school D&D,
Yeah, yeah.
Other than it's a thing, it happened, it's what led to the hobby we love,
and not part of its history care to revisit.
Yeah, there's a lot of old school gaming sort of, not just like the way the games were, but like the way the community used to be and still is in some areas.
Yeah.
That we really, really should just go away. Oh God. Just as a random thing, I remember back in like late high school, early college, lamenting that there were so few. I knew so few women who were into role playing games, and being utterly confused by that. And then finding out in college that no, there were plenty of women that played role playing games. They just didn't play it with guys, and finding out why that was, because it wasn't the people I play with. It would not have been a problem probably. But I did not realize exactly what a lot of the gaming community was like when I was in high school, outside of my particular group.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame the girls for avoiding us. It was a reputation largely deserved. Whew. But I discovered in college there were plenty of girls who played D&D, and when they found guys who played role playing games, and they found guys who were not assholes, not
Mm-hmm.
misogynistic pricks. They were quite happy to play with us. And dear God, that made the groups better. Just because it just more viewpoints is good.
Yes, absolutely. No, having at least one woman in the group is a good thing.
Just differing viewpoints and differing. It's just
Yeah.
like just yeah. But at any rate, we have an actual. I don't want to get too bogged down in that, but
Yeah, yeah. Largely because it'll just be a lot of ranting, and while that's fun,
and
it's not always
occasionally
productive.
therapeutic. Yeah. All I can say is it was after I graduated from college and started gaming and playing gaming at like our friendly local game stores, and seeing some of the other groups that popped up around.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Oh, that was the real wake up call. It's like, oh, dude, no, dude,
Yeah,
no.
yeah. No, I kind of always knew it was there because that's where I got to play was at the game stores.
Right? Yeah.
So, yeah, I knew it was there. I mean, didn't mean I played with them knowingly.
Right. At any rate, though, we actually have a plan. We are going to be doing some more brainstorming, but not well, kind of campaign brainstorming, but not really. Um, so most of the brainstorm RPG brainstorming things we've done have been very macro scale.
Hmm.
The first one we did, we actually did focus mostly on a village, but we did sort of expand outwards to look at the world as a whole. Um, and I thought it'd be interesting to do something a little different than we have been doing with the brainstorming thing, which is taking sort of a setting that we've got a macro picture for, and then doing something a lot more of on a micro scale.
Hmm.
So narrowing focus down to like a town or a village or maybe some sort of adventuring area or something. Something that, like as an area where you can have that the players can inhabit it and do stuff in, and actually have more detail on. Now we're not going to get into the true nitty gritty details of everything because, dear Lord, no, we're not. We don't have time to do that.
Yeah.
We don't have time to do that in one episode of a podcast. But so what I was thinking was we could come up with some sort of like adventure setting type thing, like either as it's like a town or a village or something like that, in the setting that we were working on last week, which is the D&D setting I've been working on.
Hmm.
Because I have not done a lot of micro stuff for that yet, largely because I don't have I tend to not start doing the really sort of nitty gritty details of the micro stuff until I have some feeling for the players.
Right.
But I did think that we could be interesting to do sort of a player agnostic, somewhat player agnostic.
Yeah.
I won't say completely player agnostic because I have a player right here. I have
I
one of
never
the
said I was
players.
going to play in this game.
What?
I never said I was going to play in this game. I'm going to play in this game.
I'm sort of thinking. So why were you talking about this goblin warlock you've been thinking about, or the gnoll fighter with a chain who's a former gladiator, or the
I don't know what you're talking about, Peter. That sounds like drunk Eric. You can't trust anything he says. There's always a drunk Eric.
So, that's what I think. What I was thinking about. We should work on today. I've got the campaign doc open because
right.
so I've got something to refer to. And I'll probably open up another doc to take notes on in a minute. But I was thinking. So the first thought that I have, actually, I should get nope, wrong, back up. There we go. She had a blank sheet open. So, all right. What sort of scale do you think we should do for this? Are we thinking like a city or a village?
Um,
And I'm asking you
both.
you as a player and the type of character you're thinking about playing, what do you think would be a good area for your character for the first, sort of an early adventuring area, I should say, because it'll probably be early adventuring area. Maybe not the start where we start, but somewhere early. We'd have to encounter early on.
I can jump both ways with this.
Yeah, I figured you could.
Because a small village is always a good place to do low level stuff because you have like threats of like goblin attacks or maybe like some sort of like weird undead things going on, so you can fight skellies and zombies, or there's tons of like little low level threats that are a big deal for a village.
Or we could even do something like in between, like a town.
Yeah, but I'm also thinking like one of the like independent trade cities around the gates would be a great place to.
Okay, I like that idea. Yeah, that's actually a cool idea.
Because that's a good way to like flesh out some of the nitty gritty like daily life stuff without getting bogged down with all the politics of the various major factions, because they're not allowed in them.
Right.
Because that's the gates area.
All right. Yeah, actually, no. I like the idea. I like the idea of a trade area, trading town, like on the outskirts of one of the gates.
Mm.
Okay, I like that idea. Let's run with that.
Okay.
Trading town / city, and I actually like the idea of it being sort of like town scale, because it's like it's not like a full fledged city, because it I imagine there are full scale city, like full fledged like major like actual metropolises, but they're almost certainly like trading outposts that are sort of town sized.
Well, I sort of imagine as having like the population being almost entirely transient. Like you might have some like you might have some like tavern owners and whatnot there.
Yeah, you'll have the tavern owners.
Yeah.
You'll have people who run warehouses.
Yep.
You'll have you'll have the town watch, because you're gonna have.
I don't even know if you'd have the town watch. I imagine them just hiring trustworthy mercenaries as they pass through as needed.
You could do that. I would think they would have some level of standing protection for the town, just in case
Sure.
mercenaries don't happen to wander through. There's going to be some actual population there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But like a very transient population. Like I imagine it has a fairly large population for its footprint. But like I said, a lot of it.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah,
because you're gonna have a lot of traveling merchants, caravans, mercenaries, and just like travelers passing through.
Yeah, just people passing through.
So trading outpost, largely. What was the term we were using for that?
Transient.
Transient, yes. Merchants, caravans, mercenaries, travelers.
Traveling players. I imagine that's actually a big thing.
Oh yeah, like all sorts of different.
Because that'd probably be the safest way for the travelers to go between continents is the gates.
Yeah, well, again, as we mentioned, the gates are definitively the fastest and safest way to travel between continents.
Right.
It's just that getting to the gates, it's not actually dangerous. It's just unsettling.
Yeah.
People don't like doing it, but it's definitively like nothing lives out there. Like, so yeah, you're not. It's not like some weird, horrible aberration is going to attack you out of nowhere. There's nothing living out there. Like,
but definitely just something about the area around it just sort of like plays on the lizard brain in the back of your head.
Right. They're nothing, like the only thing, like the biggest thing that lives out like in the areas around the gates are like, small, like, like there are trees and there are plants and such, and like the things that like fertilize the trees and such, and like the occasional like, bird, or maybe like nothing bigger than like a small bird, really, like, and maybe some very small predators. But it's not even like, you don't even like the most you're gonna hear like is like, the occasional like insect noises.
Insect noises, maybe the rustling caused by like shrews and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Small little mammals or lizards, that kind of thing.
But like there are no big predators out there at all.
Yeah.
Like, you'll have like small, like you might have like small, like, small.
Might have like those tiny little like African cats. For some reason I imagine that's a thing.
Possibly. But nothing big and large in the wastes around there. But yeah, like, so people use the gates because it's fast and convenient and safe. It's just, if you don't have to use them, people see, Yeah, I could use the gates, or I could take a ship. But if you take the ship, you might be attacked by pirates. Yeah, that's true.
That
But
means I have to go through the gate.
but then I don't have to go through. Then I don't have to go through the gate. But like, there's nothing out there. Yeah. Are
Yeah,
we
that's kind of the
are we
problem.
sure there's nothing out there? Are we really sure? Like I'm. Here's the thing. I'm also betting there are like people tell stories of bad shit that has happened, but no one actually remembers it actually
Oh
happening.
yeah, I imagine there's like tons of like rumors and shit about various like things in the out in the wastes around the gate.
But if you actually press
Like,
anyone on a story, they're like, no one has any actual details,
yeah, it's
and
like
it happened a long time ago. Like when did it happen? I don't know.
it was my brother's cousin's girlfriend's ex roommate's tax collector.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, no, a totally trustworthy source.
But like even people telling stories will see they're just realizing that the details are like they're aware that the details of the stories are vague,
Mm.
but they it still feels like it should be true. Whether it is or not, whether there is something spooky and bad hanging out in the wastes, nobody knows. It probably isn't really anything out there, honestly. Like I'd like the absolute worst that you might find might be like a wandering like a free roaming skeleton or something. And it's probably not even from
Yeah.
the wastes. It's probably from like the ruins. Like it's probably like some necromancer went there with an army of skeletons and got like smote or something because he was doing something that he shouldn't be doing with the gates.
Right.
It's like, haha! I will take control of the gates so I can take over the world. Squid. And then you've got like, a couple of wandering skeletons going brains. All right, so all right, town. We've got taverns and inns.
There might be. I imagine it's kind
There's
of getting like
almost certainly there's almost certainly at least one local general store.
yes. Oh no, no. There's like probably several, and then the bazaar.
Oh yeah,
Like
bazaar.
several
Yes,
bazaars,
absolutely.
several bazaars, several markets. A lot of them impromptu that will show up and then disappear as caravans move
Right, because
through.
if the caravan comes through, like they will occasionally like set up shop, like so they can sell stuff, so they get like so that the caravans can trade amongst each other
Right.
for like okay, well we need to resupply some stuff, and we've got some stuff we can sell off here. Yeah, absolutely.
I imagine that's the thing. Like suddenly, like this empty street and square will just be a bazaar for 2 weeks,
Yeah,
and
and
then
then
it'll be empty and deserted again.
yes, absolutely. So like they're like if you show up at the wrong time, you'll see this town, this sprawling town with almost nobody living there, with these giant empty squares, and you're like, why the fuck would there be the and like you like 2 days if you happen to stay there for like another 2 days, it's like three caravans come through, and all of a sudden there's a marketplace just springs up out of nowhere.
Yep.
And you're like, what? And like all of a sudden, like the caravans show up, and like a day later, people start showing up to buy stuff at there because they've been tracking where these caravans are, and they know they're going to be showing up at this particular trading outpost around about this date. So if you want to hit up the bazaar, there's usually one around this time of year here. Stalls will close down and go off, and another caravan will come in and set up their stalls. So for like a week there'll be like this thing, and then gone. And there's just nothing as the rest of the caravans just move on.
Yeah, like I imagine like there are times when the place is just really like empty and creepy, and there's like the guys, the people that like live there full time, and other times where it's just fucking crazy. um, I don't think they. I think it's very much a sort of like because it's not like the city's not affiliated with any major government or kingdom or anything. So I imagine it's a very Las Vegas kind of place.
Okay.
where there are laws, but they're not written down anywhere.
Okay. Yeah, there's some very basic laws like you don't, and some that are like, yeah, like if a thief comes through, that they won't actually screw with like the innkeepers or the local merchants,
Right.
because you don't do that, because they're the ones that keep this trade outpost going.
Yep.
Like, if you screw with them, the outpost is going to be gone, and what the fuck are you
I
going to do
bet
then?
but their gambling halls are a big deal there also.
Gambling halls
Like
are
various industries.
Gambling halls are big. All right. I also noted down, I think there's going to be a small city watch that they bulk out with mercenaries when need be.
Yep.
Like, okay, like there are caravans coming through. We will actually hire mercs that have a good rep and are in the area. It's like, okay, you guys need work. We got work for you, and it's the kind of work you guys love because it's low risk,
It's
low risk, reasonable prey.
Decent pay, low risk. Just gotta watch out for the riffraff guys. Keep the peace. Make sure commerce flows. Make sure the coin changes hands. That's all you gotta do.
You see someone stealing shit, you clap them upside the head and turn them over to the chief, and they'll throw them in the lockup, and we'll figure out what to do with them then. And if some idiot actually robs an inn, well, that's their problem. Not the inn, the idiots.
Yeah.
You don't do that.
Imagine certain places are considered certain deaths are considered suicide in the same way they in Ankh-Morpork.
Oh, you attacked the innkeeper. You didn't know he was a werewolf.
Yeah, I imagine a lot of the permanent people, the permanent population, or actually people that like just are not generally welcome in civilized society, like werewolves.
I suspect. Actually, you know what? I bet it's a mixture of that and former adventurers.
Yes.
So it's not so much they're not welcome; it's they don't fit in.
Yeah. So you have like werewolves, sentient but not malicious undead.
Oh yeah. I like. Okay. Yeah.
Like a revenant who just like, yeah, no, I imagine like one of the regulars is that lives there. Like Captain of the Guard is a revenant. Captain of the Guard is a revenant who whose whole thing is to solve his own murder, but it was 300 years ago, and he never solved it. So he settled down to solve other murders and keep the peace there. Like, that's just a neat idea. I don't know how you want to go with that.
And or so yes. Well, I can imagine like there's some sort of free willed undead who's like the town alchemist.
Mm.
Right. I can picture that too.
Oh, even better than an undead, some kind of weird mutant.
Yeah, possibly.
Just because like he experimented in alchemy and things went wrong, and he doesn't look anything like anyone should, but he's the best alchemist you will find on this continent.
Actually,
he just
okay,
kind of
Eric,
doesn't want to have to deal with like.
So I'm thinking like a Discworld type zombie as the guy who runs the alchemy shop.
Mm.
So he died. Like one of his alchemy experiments went wrong, and he just got back but he got back up because he's that obsessed with alchemy.
Mm.
So yeah, he's dead, but he's the best. He's been doing alchemy for so goddamn long. He's really good now.
Yeah, he's almost like a lich kind of deal.
It's except he's not actually like not like a wizard is the thing.
Yeah, he's something else.
Yeah,
no one's sort of weird, unique undead.
Yeah, exactly. No one's entirely sure what he is. It's like, in most ways, he's like a zombie, except that he's fully sapient. And like you can have a normal conversation with him, and he doesn't try to murder people, and okay, I will try to use my controlling undead powers. Would you stop that? What do you mean? Would I stop
Imagine
that?
it's rather unsettling to be in a room with him if you're not actually carrying on a conversation, because he will just sit absolutely perfectly still the way people don't.
Right. Yes. It's like,
Or he'll just trail off in the middle of a conversation and do that as something crosses his mind and he needs to pick it apart.
yep, I like that. That's something we'll definitely consider. I like that. I like the idea of that. Like, and I like the idea of the Revenant the Revenant head of the City Watch. I like that idea. It's like, all right.
Okay, so we've got like
I also like the idea of an innkeeper, like one of the innkeepers being a werewolf, like a perfectly, like a friendly, actually reasonably friendly, werewolf who's got things under control now. But like, you don't fuck with him, and like, there's a certain level if you push him beyond a certain point, he can't, he's still a werewolf. So like, some thief, somebody tried robbing his inn one time and tried to threatened his wife or something. No one found the thief. Well, not all of them. And it was ruled a suicide because, well, he should have known better than to threaten the innkeeper's family. I mean, you don't threaten a werewolf's family. That's just stupid.
That's just stupid. Because then they all come after you. They hunt in packs,
Yeah, I imagine the innkeeper's is like a werewolf who just got utterly fed up with his pack. Just like, God, no, I'm done with these. I'm done with this. Y'all are psychos. Y'all suck. I'm gonna go off and not suck. God, I could use a beer.
Oh, one of the best gambling halls is run by kobolds. Just because kobolds have that sort of like, that sort of weird tinkering thing that they do, and they like to hoard treasure. So they set up a bunch of really weird games of chance, and they hold the treasure, and they they get to keep any the house when the house wins, they get to keep the treasure. And every time a goblin tribe tries the same thing, it explodes. Possibly because it was goblins and they don't care about safety regulations, or because the kobolds sabotage them. No one's sure. Probably 50-50.
Probably varies, yeah. All right, so we got a bunch of weird little sort of things like that, and they're almost certainly like big warehouses that are occasionally either when a caravan's in town, they're packed full, and the rest of the time they are dead empty.
Yes. Oh no, I imagine if there aren't enough caravans going through, things get really bored and tense. Because if people aren't busy, things start getting tense, and simply because of the proximity to the gate, because everyone starts getting nervous.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah. So people get weird and tense, and that's when the actual bad shit happens. And then a caravan goes through it, and things are good again.
All right. Okay. One other thing I think there's definitively a quote non-denominational church.
Yeah.
There's with a priest of actually, okay, so the church is run by a priest of an actual who actually follows a particular denomination, because of course there is.
Right.
I'm thinking it's actually a priest of Mortis.
That's the death god, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
And largely because the main and everyone the town decided it had to be priest of Mortis because the church had to run the graveyard.
Yep.
And who better to run the graveyard than a priest of Mortis?
I imagine that's actually part of the thing that one of the things that priests of Mortis do is they
You know,
tend the
they tend to be
graveyards
there are a lot of
yeah,
undertakers who are absolutely
like they watch over the dead because it's a fantasy land. Sometimes the dead get back up.
right. And Father Fritz, what the the northern quadrant's getting up again. Oh, god damn it!
Oh, son of a bitch.
Get the holy water.
I imagine the alchemist and the priest are really good friends, and the captain of the watch wants nothing to do with them
Right.
because the priest knows a lot about undead. It's part of his job to put them back down. But he has no idea what the hell the alchemist is. The alchemist just likes talking theory.
Right.
To someone who doesn't get creeped out when something falls off or he trails off and for 15 minutes.
And the priest is totally okay with the head of the watch. He's like, no, revenants are an exception to or one of the big exceptions Mortis has on the undead, on free willed undead.
Oh, the thing is, the priest is constantly trying to help out the revenant to find peace, and the revenant wants none of it. He doesn't want to be reminded that he's shirking his duty.
Right.
It's something that bugs him too. The last thing he wants to be reminded of it,
especially by a priest of goddamn Mortis.
Especially by a priest.
But the other reason I was thinking of the priest of Mortis is because I was thinking it had to be either a priest of Mortis or a priest of Gaia. Because they're the ones that have no issues with the rest of the deities.
Mm.
Sorry, not Gaia Terra. Sorry. So it's either a priest. It had to be it had to either be a priest of Terra or Mortis, because they're the ones that they're the two gods who get along perfectly well with the entire rest of the pantheon.
But Mortis makes more sense because nothing grows in the area around the gates.
There's that. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Like I imagine there's trading outposts that's not trading. There's trading outposts on the fringes, like trading outposts like near a major that's near one of the major Sylvan Woods is probably the head of the church there is probably a priest of Terra for similar reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So we got that. So yeah, I like the yep. But yeah, the priest who runs the church. He's actually a bit of a theologian also because he's got to be able to run services for people who favor other gods.
Right.
So you favor the nameless king. No problem. I can run a service for you. That no problem.
I can run a service for that. Yeah, no problem.
I have lots of respect. I have nothing but respect for the nameless king. But you're a servant of a different god. And
yeah, but it's Mortis. Everyone comes to Mortis in the end. But we're happy to help you along your path, however you like.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that actually creeps a lot of people out. So the church doesn't see a lot of services.
Yeah, right. The thing is, everyone finds him a bit unsettling and a bit creepy, but they all actually kind of secretly respect and like him, and because he's this genuinely nice guy.
I think I like the idea that he's kind of the glue that keeps the place
yes,
from turning into a bloodbath when things are quiet.
Things start getting really really tense and such, and all of a sudden the Father so and so shows up at the tavern and sort of just starts spreading bon ami around. Everyone's like, I always forget how cheerful and nice a guy the Father is.
He's super low key about it though.
Well, yeah, no, he's not like
a, he's like the dude. It sort of shows, this is a nice place. Yeah, can I get a drink? You guys look like you're having a little problem. You want to talk about it? Yeah, it's basic. Suddenly, it's Jeff Bridges. That's the Father. It's Jeff Bridges.
I'll see if I end up playing him that way, but it's definitely a thought. Yeah. But yeah, I do think that one of the things that happens is adventurers do get hired to do stuff around this place, because especially when there's not much in the way of trade going on.
Yeah,
because they're not going to send the city watch out to go do stuff. They got bigger stuff to do, making sure the goblins and the kobolds the goblin and kobolds gambling halls don't blow each other up. So, guys, I don't. No sneaking
Making sure
bombs in there.
Innkeeper doesn't lose his temper. That kind of shit.
Okay. Grix, I see the dagger you got behind your back.
What? It's I was making a sandwich.
And what's that black tar-like substance on it?
Mustard.
Really? Would you like to taste it?
Oh, you don't eat mustard off the knife. What are you, crazy? That's crazy. You're crazy. And he leaves.
It's like, fuck. I mean, that's the best part. Like, the goblin, his natural response is, you taste it, but he realizes he's talking to a revenant, so the poison won't actually do anything to him.
That's crazy. You're crazy. I'm going home now.
It's like, yeah, I'll make him. He'll refuse because, well, he can't because he knows it would kill him, but he's undead, so he'll taste it and know what it is, and I'm fucked. I guess my only option is to go home now. Shit. You're crazy. I'm going home to finish my sandwich. Yeah, that's it. For the undead cops. Who the hell hires an undead cop? They can't be poisoned. They can't be bribed.
Poison them. They've got no vices because they're dead. How am I supposed to run an honest, dishonest service around here?
On the other side, that means the kobolds can't bribe him either. Must be a way I can use that.
Oh my god, the kobolds are like the mafia dons of the town. But they're so crazy nothing actually gets done. Because they're kobolds.
The kobolds think they're the mafia dons of the town.
Yeah. They're definitely the richest people. Because
they're
shit.
Yeah, they run the gambling halls.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, we're totally like the local mafia. Yeah. Aren't the mafia crime syndicates supposed to like bully the cops around? Are you crazy? Have you seen the cops around here?
No, mess with us, man. We're badass. We're made lizards. That's really cute.
I am not cute. I am Don So-and-so. I'm Don Ingrathax.
Look at his little scales when they flare up.
But if you cross the wrong lines at like their gambling establishments, they have you roughed up. The cops won't have any issue with it. It's like, no, you broke the rules of his gambling establishment. Of course, as long as they don't outright kill you. Yeah, they had you rolled and took your money. You cheated. Of course they did that.
You didn't think kobolds would be able to roll you. But I think you're forgetting the amount of traps that they have in here. Because they're kobolds. They make traps.
I got rolled by a kobold. Well, it wasn't just a kobold.
I got rolled by a dozen kobolds because you fell into the friggin' pit trap that they made.
See, we caught you cheating at the dice. We can't be having that. So you're gonna be handing over your winnings and whatever cash you brought in with you. And if you want to come back here, you're gonna have to pay us 100 gold to come back in.
Someone starts rolling too well at the craps table. Trapdoor drops. Everyone just ignores it. Guy falls down. Just disappears.
It's like, oh god. He's like in a little cell. And like there's like across from him is like in a cage where you see some sort of like lizard thing, like lizardy monster pacing back and forth. And there's a kobold outside with a lever saying, "So we have to talk with you about your."
It's an actual Drake. It's an actual motherfucking Drake.
Something, yeah. Something dangerous, but. All right, we've got some basic ideas for the sort of framework of the town. So we got the priest, we got the kobolds running the gambling halls, We've got at least one innkeeper who's a werewolf. We got the Revenant City Watchman. We got the guy, the unique undead who's running who's the town alchemist.
Right.
That everyone is kind of is freaked out by, but everyone's sort of like, yeah, but he's like a fixture in town.
I think there's a theater that's owned and operated that's owned and maintained by someone, but they don't actually put on any shows. Like passing players will just like
right. No,
hey,
yeah,
I'll come through. They'll like say we'd like to put on a show here, and it's like okay, you charge this much, and I get this is my
I get 10% of the gate,
and I get probably a lot more than 10%, because this isn't exactly a legal town.
I was just picking a percentage out of the air.
Oh yeah. And this is my percentage, and this is what you charge at the door. You will make money. Don't worry, people here are rich, or at least there'll be enough people flesh with coin that you will make plenty of money. We'll both make lots of money.
Yeah, I like that. All right, yeah, there's definitely like. I also like to think that when things are really tense in town, there's been like nothing coming through for a long time. That's like the one and only time he'll ever put on a show.
Yeah.
Like he and his he's got like he and like the people who like normally work the place. They're all like former actors and such, and they're like, well, the place has been on powder keg, and the father hasn't been able to settle things down. Right, time to put on some community theater.
Yeah, they'll pull something out of their ass, and it's like
something. It'll usually be something like bawdry and slapstick too.
Yeah,
like not remotely high theater, because that's not what people want for this situation.
In fact, I imagine they actually don't like high theater, but if someone wants to put on some high thing, as long as it makes some like highfalutin like waiting for Godot thing, fine, whatever. Like as long as it makes money, that's cool.
Well, I imagine like the act like it's more that it's not that they don't like high theater, it's that they're done with that. They've done it. We're done. We don't.
Yeah. There's a certain degree of like disdain for it, not because like, oh, look at you being all like hoity-toity. It's like, no, we've done it. We've done everything, honey.
We've done
the only theater that matters is slapstick. Vaudeville forever.
But they can't do it because like there's not enough people in town to do it like on a routine basis.
Right.
So it's like we won't get the right we won't get the right reactions from the crowd if we do it on a routine. So if we save it for exactly the right time, we'll get the reactions we're looking for from the audience, and that's what we live for.
Yes.
So like they're weirdly among the only people in town who actually look forward to when it's really quiet, like dead for a long time, because they know that they'll eventually be able to put on the show they want to put on.
Because that means that they'll get to do some like ridiculous like Marx Brothers bullshit.
They'll even get to like bust out some like if it gets really bad, they get to bust out some really weird absurdist shit.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Confuse a Cat. Which is one of my favorite Monty Python sketches of all time. So okay, we need. What else do we need? So we need someone to run who's like an important local merchant also.
Okay, so we have an important local merchant. So let's make him a fat dwarf.
Okay, 1 second.
Fat dwarf with the most spectacular handlebar mustache. Like, goes out past his shoulders.
All right. Main shopkeep is a fat dwarf merchant with a glorious mustache. Just shorthanding that.
Yeah.
He's
Run.
almost certainly surface born.
Yeah. Definitely surface born. And he's got the biggest goddamn fucking emporium.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So yeah, and what is it about him that it means he doesn't really fit in with why is he here instead of at one of the dwarven trading towns near the mountains is the thing.
I think that's a weird thing about him. No one can figure it out.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I like that. No one's entirely sure why, because he seems like
Like,
a perfectly normal dwarven merchant.
yeah. Which in this town makes him all the more unsettling.
Right.
So like a perfectly normal, perfectly nice dwarven merchant, and oh, what is he doing? Why does he stay here?
It's just like, yeah, that's Snorri he's a damn good merchant. Seems like the nicest guy. Why do you seem like you're unsettled by him? We don't know why he's here. Why would a
Why would anyone stay here if they had a choice?
he should be back near the mountains in one of the major dwarven trading cities, raking in money hand over fist over hand over fist. And he's here. Now he's making a lot of money, but he could be making more back by the mountains.
He'd be making a lot more, like the capital of like that Cardinal capital, or like in Dragontopia. I can't remember the name of that empire.
Dragosia.
Dragosia. He could be making tons of money over in Dragosa. Or, geez, imagine what kind of like his business sense could do in the friggin' Caliphate. But no, he's here. Why is he here? Why would he choose to stay here?
And people ask and he's very vague about his past. But you almost never realize he's being vague until after you stop talking to him, and you've gone somewhere else. You're like, wait a minute. He technically answered all my questions without actually telling me anything useful.
He's really good at like turning a question around and getting you to answer it yourself. So where are you from, Snorri? Oh, here and there. We're all from somewhere eventually. Oh, where are you from? And before you know it, you've dumped your life story onto him.
So, but why shut up shop here? Oh, it's such a fascinating cross section of people from different areas and such. You get to meet the most fascinating people when they come through town. I wouldn't get to see half the stuff I get to see here. That I get to see here back home. Where is home? Oh,
You worry about that.
I've done business in so many different towns. It's hard to keep track these days.
I think he's actually for those in the know, he's the local information broker. Like, he knows what new trade routes have opened up, what's safe, what's popular, what's not, what the political situations where you're going are, and more illicit things if the coin is right.
Okay. Here's another thing I like. The kobolds never fuck with him.
Yeah.
They give crap to everybody else in town. Not Snorri. No. They're like, no. We don't. No. He mostly because he's just useful. I mean,
Yeah. No, he's profound. No one fucks with Snorri.
right.
And not because he's scary or anything. It's just, why would you fuck with Snorri? Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, we don't understand why he's here, but we're fucking glad he is. He's able to arrange delivery of some of the most amazing shit sometimes. He's got connections everywhere. Everywhere.
Yeah, Snorri works as an essential go-between for some of the more what's the word I'm looking for?
Hard to get.
Unusual denizens of the town.
Yeah.
Why would you deal with kobolds or goblins or a fucking werewolf?
Their coin spends the same.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm just thinking like those are fucking kobolds. I'm not doing business with kobolds. Just think of the hit to my reputation. So Snorri does it for them.
Oh yeah, no, oh yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, not
Yeah.
like why asking Snorri why would he? It's yeah, got it.
No. Snorri works as the go-between for
Yep.
some of the
No, no,
more
totally.
discerning people passing through.
Yes.
To be as politic as possible.
The racist assholes.
Yes. Because you know there are racist assholes there everywhere, and you're going to have them in a town like this.
Oh God, yes.
Especially the transient population where they just where they don't deal with any one of it. Well, they'll deal with other people, but only see the what's the word I'm looking for? The bad stereotypes, because that's all they need to see. Because they don't have to
I
look
like the
any
idea
deeper.
that like every now and then like they when during during trading season like they have to hire on mercs, they get like one or two mercs who don't get the deal,
Yeah.
who are really just like, what is going on here? You realize the kobolds are running a crooked gambling establishment. Yeah, everyone knows that.
Yeah.
There are straight games you can play there. You just have to know which ones they are. You play the straight games, you avoid the crooked tables.
Usually the ones that don't have the bright flashing lights and the booming klaxons, because those are there to distract you. Everyone in the know knows that. They're just really fun to watch.
Oh, and you might play with them a little. You might play at one of them for a little while, just for fun. Like, yeah, no, yeah, you play at that table. No, you don't play at that. Don't play at that table unless you're planning on basically hanging out there and having a few drinks, because the drinks are cheaper there when you're at that table. So the money you're losing really is just you paying for your drinks, if you're careful.
Yeah.
As long as you gamble smart, it's just you're paying for your drinks. If you don't gamble smart, well, that's your own fault.
That's your own fault.
But that table's crooked. Yeah. And they give you cheap booze
But it's
there.
a great show when someone wins, and a better one when someone loses.
And you get booze at a discount there because they're trying to get you drunk. So you don't notice it's crooked.
I think that's the thing that's like the big difference between the goblin and the between the success between the goblin and the kobold gambling halls. Is the goblins will always try to rook you no matter what, including on the drinks.
Right. And the kobolds have figured out like the things that modern casinos have figured out.
Yeah. Drunk people bet more.
No, you want your guests to be happy.
You want them to be happy, you want them to drink and be relaxed and be having fun.
Because then they gamble more and they lose more money. I like the idea that the kobolds just have nothing but disdain for the goblins, because the goblin casinos, like, goblins will come in, set up a new casino, and it will inevitably go broke within a year.
Yep.
And the kobolds are just like,
assuming it doesn't explode, because
like,
they're trying to copy some of the flashier stuff that the kobolds do, like the kobold place, the only place where you have slot machines. So the only people that figured it out.
I like the idea that like the kobolds have a lot of like special lighting and such that they hired the alchemist to make for them, and the goblins are like, the goblins who show up like don't even think about doing that. They're like, oh no, we know how to make lighting like that, no problem. And the
Skaboom!
The kobolds are like, no, it's like the goblins are like, idiots. The reason ours works is we hired one of the best alchemists in the world to make the goddamn lights.
Right. So like the slot machines, which are a big draw there because they have lots of flashing lights, and they play music when you do when you win, that kind of stuff. And the reason why is the kobolds did all of the actual like mechanics for that, but the bright flashing lights is all alchemy done by the zombie.
Mixture of that and like they hired a passing wizard at some point to cast a few enchantments.
Yep.
Like, wait, you're an illusionist? Dude, you can gamble. We will comp you here for a week if you'll help us with our slot machines.
Yes.
Really now? A week? Yep. We'll give you free play for up to a certain amount each day for, like 50 gold a day, free play, and you don't have to pay for food or drinks for a week. If as payment for that, you help us, you cast a few permanent illusion spells in the slots there to make them extra sparkly and shiny when certain things happen.
Sure. I also like the idea that this is one of the few places in the world where you have things like kobolds and goblins and orcs and gnolls and other weirdness just out and about like it's a normal, like they're normal citizens.
Yeah, there are a few places like that here and there, but usually not like all of them together.
Yeah.
And like anytime like the more sort of stereotypical like orcs or goblins or gnolls or whatever show up and start causing trouble, the locals are like, oh my god,
You guys give us a bad name.
out like they're run out by their like they're confused, but they're getting the most shit from their own people.
Yes.
Well, what do you mean? Why are you giving me so much trouble? We're related. It's like, dude, I have a rep here.
Got a rep and you're giving us a bad name.
You've lost your way, cousin. No.
No, you just never knew how to keep your snout clean.
God, I can imagine like there's like a couple of local gnolls, and like other gnolls show up and are like completely weirded out by the fact that they don't eat other sentients
Yeah.
at all. It's like what you're eating like cow, yeah,
Yeah.
but that's
I actually imagine that like there's there's a very quiet black market in sentient meat, but it's always someone that's done something to piss off the goblin, the kobolds. It has to be really bad.
But I just have,
unmarked butchers wrapped unmarked steaks wrapped in butcher's paper just gets delivered to the gnolls. In exchange for a large chunk of money.
but they usually don't because
no, it's a very rare thing. Someone has to do something really fucking bad.
Here's the idea, Eric. They only use it for particular religious celebrations.
Yep.
For religious ceremonies. Like, no, we don't. No, we don't.
It's like Thanksgiving dinner kind of deal, or Christmas dinner, or whatever whatever the goblin equivalent or the gnoll equivalent is.
Yeah, it's something big, and it's got religious significance. It's like no.
Yeah.
The rest of the time, no. We eat what everyone else eats. Dude, that's like cow. Yeah. That's all you eat when you're desperate, dude. Have you ever had it made by the way the dwarves make it? Dude, you're eating it cooked. Yeah, that's. Try it. No, you get sick from eating cooked meat. Oh my god.
Oh my god. This is the best human I've ever had. It's not human. What do you mean it's not human? It's pig. I'm eating pig. He starts scratching.
Dude, pigs will eat anything. Yeah, so will humans.
Yeah, so will you.
So do we. That's like the whole point. We're all omnivores. I mean, we prefer meat, but like we can survive on non-meat stuff. How do you know that? Dude, I've seen you eating when you were starving and there's no actual meat around.
Dude, I saw you eat a rock once.
But yeah, I imagine like a noble a visiting gnoll is like completely freaked out by the fact that the local ones are getting along with the kobolds at all, and they're like,
yeah,
why aren't you eating them?
Why aren't you eating them? Why aren't you enslaving them? Why aren't you trying to dominate and devour everything around here the way you're supposed to, like a good proper gnoll?
Have you seen the house I live in? Dude, roof over the head. 3 meals a day.
We're not conquering and destroying. You have lost whatever the demon lord that gnolls serve. It's something weird and unpronounceable and starts with a Y.
It'll probably be something else in this game, but yeah. Dude, man, civilization made you soft. Oh, really? I fought my way out of the Cardul pits to make it here. Fuck you. I'd like to see you survive the pits. Asshole.
Not those fancy pits they have at this capital either. No, you haven't seen the pits I fought in.
I fought my way up to those pits. When you get there, oh, it's a huge step up, man.
Oh, that's like fucking like it's luxury there.
Well, I mean, it's not actually. It's much worse than here, but you know,
Yeah.
God, it felt amazing at first, and I thought I thought I'd hit the peak, and then I realized I was actually a shot at actually earning my freedom. And the weirdest goddamn thing happened when I did. All of a sudden, I was a part of the community. Like they just like, yeah, they didn't treat me. They weren't nice to me because I was a former gladiator and a gnoll, but like no one threw rocks at me. They like would like take my money and buy stuff, let me buy stuff, and
I could earn actual coin. It was really weird.
and then I got hired on as a merchant guard and came out here, and all of a sudden like it was even better here. Like people were like,
No one gave a shit that I was a gnoll here, which is the weirdest thing.
and was kind of awesome. Which is why eventually I just like settled down.
The gnolls are in the butcher shop.
Yeah. There we
It
go.
just occurred to me the gnolls are in the butcher shop. There's a very, very good butcher shop. They know how to cut their meat, and it's run by gnolls. And because there aren't a lot of laws in this town, if you ask the right questions, they can get you anything you want. You just have to ask the right questions to have coin in hand.
But
But they're very good at keeping their snouts clean.
and also they are fully aware that like, yeah, the stuff that the really bad the stuff that people really don't like, people get upset about. Yeah, they don't. The reason they don't get upset about us trading that stuff is our supply is very specific, and
Make
it's
sure
rare.
you don't end up on our block.
Like if
I imagine there's a saying like there's actually a local saying like keep your nose clean or you'll end up on the block. And
But,
only the locals get it.
Right.
Exactly.
But like ending up on the block means you did something really fucked. You really fucked up.
Yeah.
Like you might get like if you do something, if you threaten the wrong people, they might just eat you, but you won't end up on the block. Like there are people here who will eat you if pressed. Like the innkeeper, yeah, he's a werewolf. He will eat you if but he prefers not to. Like he doesn't go out his way to eat. It's like no, fuck that. But like, oh, you threaten him and his. Ooh.
Well, that's a good way to piss him off. And well, when he gets pissed off, he gets hungry.
And when he gets hungry, he gets less discerning. Like when he gets really hungry. When he's pissed and hungry. A little bit less discerning. He is a werewolf. He keeps it in check most of the time, but yeah, you'll notice the gnolls, they really don't fuck with him.
Yeah.
Like the gnolls are like super polite to him. And not just because he's one of their best customers. I mean, he runs the inn. I mean,
yeah, got to get his meat from somewhere.
And they're like, dude, he's a great customer and he's a good guy, and he could rip our throats out if we pissed him off. So,
imagine the gnolls also have an understanding with the alchemist in that like he's figured out a way to keep their stores cold so they don't spoil.
Ooh, I like that. Yep.
So this alchemist is really good friends with the priest of the god of death, the kobolds, and the gnolls, and nobody else likes hanging out with them.
But everyone respects him because, again...
Yes, because he's the best alchemist you'll find on the continent.
All right, so the next question is, what continent is this on? I'm thinking the western continent, where Dracosia and the orc town thing is, because...
Sure, yeah.
It makes no sense to head on the continent with Cardul.
Yeah, because Cardul's kind of has a sort of a
I'm not talking about from a narrative standpoint. I'm talking about from a where the play where like if the players really want to, if you put part of this you put it on the continent where the players really want to have their campaign centered.
Right.
So if the players really are jazzed about like doing stuff in Cardul, then you set it near Cardul. Otherwise, you put it somewhere else.
Yeah, and the Western continent's got the most variety and stuff going on.
That's exactly
So,
that's why I was thinking
you've
that.
so you've got like the human empire quotation marks, the
Dragosians.
the Drosians, and the Nacian Orc Nation.
Yep.
Plus a whole bunch of wilderness.
Yep. Plus wilderness
Because,
and other and little small city states of various sorts here and there. You know, there's some dwarven clans up in the mountains. You know, there's of course there's an elven wood somewhere, because of course there's one in every continent. There are elves. Every continent has at least one somewhat sizable elven community.
Yep.
Of Sylvani, and every now and then a seed shows up, and that means shit's gone bad. I mean, the sheet will like, no, it doesn't. Stop that. But like, Doom follows the sheet. No, it doesn't. I'm just here because I know there's a big threat to. Oh, for fuck's sake! That's how this started. These legends started, isn't it? Some ancestor of mine basically found out about some cult that was going to do some bad shit, so they showed up to break it, and of course that they showed up, and that's what kept happening with various sheets showing up to do that sort of thing. And oh, fuck me, and I'm doing it again, but there's a cult that has to be broken.
Well, guess I got to go and do that.
But yeah, like I like the idea. One of the things I do like about the idea of the high elf equivalent in this setting is, like, I have no, like, it means that, you know, if you want to play one, it's fine, and people, like, it's not that people are like, boo, they're evil. It's people are just like, that means something bad's happening, and because you're an adventurer, that means you're going off to go find some adventures. Like, because of the nature of a D&D campaign. That means bad shit isn't going to happen where you go, because that's the nature of it.
Because you're a fucking adventurer.
It fits perfectly. All right, so one last thing I want to touch on before we wrap, though, because we got a good basic idea for the outpost, is a couple of sort of adventure ideas that I think that we like, just sort of as sort of starting things.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, so the first off is, again, like, so it's a down season, and I think sort of your classic sort of adventuring thing is, it's a trading outpost where most of the guards and such aren't around, and there is a somewhat sizable bandit camp nearby that has to be dealt with. So that's a classic sort of starting point, sort of starting adventure type thing.
Sure, that works. That works.
And the big thing with the bandit camp is, it's not so much that it's a direct threat to the town, because, again, like, yeah, there's not a lot of city watch, but, like, you know, like, they send like a couple of bandits to, like, go in there and like, a couple of bandits come into town to rough people up and, like, rough the town folk up and, like, you know, try to do the protection racket thing, and they don't come back.
So they set up along the trade route so they can catch the caravan.
So they didn't come back. Okay, you, Bob, go into town. Don't rough anybody up. Don't let anyone on. Don't let on your band or anything like that. Just see if you can hear what happened. Because I like the idea that the bandit leader is smart enough to realize that shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Like, we know how many people in the city watch, and it's not enough to, like, they should have gotten out alive. And, like, the guy they sent in to get information comes back, and he's, like, ashen face. He's like, dude, we don't go into town. What do you mean we don't go into town? Dude, no.
We don't go into town.
But if we go into town, we go in to spend money, and we don't try to take anything away from them. We go in as just citizens. And even then, I wouldn't recommend it. Dude, the butcher shop's run by gnolls, man. The butcher shop's run by gnolls, man!
Yeah, that alone is enough to scare the shit out of them.
Dude, the head of the city watch is undead. What do you mean he's undead? He's a goddamn revenant! I think. I don't know.
He's just...
But, like, you know, he's very clearly dead.
He doesn't breathe. He's clearly something wrong with him.
And if he's undead, that means that if he starts chasing you, he doesn't have to stop.
Pursuit predators eat your heart out.
Yeah. God, that's like the worst. That's got to be the worst feeling. Seriously, like, a revenant cop is like the worst goddamn feeling for a crook.
Yes, absolutely.
For exactly that pursuit predation thing. It's just like they don't stop. They don't ever stop. Like the only thing worse is a disc-rolled golem.
Yeah.
Because then it's completely
Oh.
invulnerable.
Another adventure idea is maybe when things are picked up a bit more, but not crazy. Like there's a series of murders and someone's trying to frame the gnolls for it.
Isn't that just Studio Trigger's Hellcop? Yeah, kinda.
like for a more investigative adventure, there could be like there have been a series of murders before things get crazy, but they're not tense. But evidence points to the gnolls, but everyone knows the gnolls don't pull that shit. So what's actually going on?
And for some reason, the chief, the watch, it can't get involved. Like
Yeah.
they're tied down with something else. I don't know what. I'd have to think about that. But like, well, I mean, like, actually, no. I here's a better idea. Is the chief is he will eventually get the right answer, but he's not actually a good investigator per se. It's just that he doesn't stop or give up.
Yeah,
And this needs to be solved.
But he keeps beating his head against the wall until the wall breaks.
Right. But like he's aware that it's going to take time, and we don't have time. This needs to be solved before things get really tense here and things boil over. And you lot seem pretty bright.
Yeah.
And so he basically, the chief actually hires them to help. He just needs extra.
Yeah, the chief hires them to help, and the problem with gnolls is that gnolls are particularly short-lived, so they're by nature impatient.
Right.
So they'll start taking things in their own paws sooner rather than later, and that'll be bad for everybody.
The town works normally, but it is a powder keg.
Yeah.
There are a lot of different ways to vent steam and to let things not blow up. But if something goes really wrong, it has to be dealt with.
Yep.
And quickly. And it's like, yeah, I will. It's like on my own, I can't get there fast enough. I need more legs. And the watch in itself is not enough, and they've got other things they have. Like the watch has other jobs to do.
Yeah.
We can't just have them just stop like doing their normal duties. So, and I'm the one who has the freedom to investigate normally. But I need more legs, so I'm hiring you guys to help.
Yeah. I'm hiring you guys to help out. Congratulations, you deputies. Find out who's framing the gnolls for these murders. Because the problem is that there are murders. The problem is that they're trying to frame the gnolls.
Well, no, the murders are the murders are bad. Like murder is a thing. Like no, you don't just kill people random. Like murder is a bad thing. Like everyone in town.
This is a big like free market like powder keg.
Murder is a problem.
Murder is bad. It gets in the way of commerce.
Right. Well, it's not even just that. It's like it's like
it's bad.
Like there are people well, it depends which parts of the community you're talking about and their attitudes towards it. Like the kobolds, it's entirely it's bad for business.
Yep.
The gnolls, well it's the gnolls. It's also bad for business, but also it's like they've sort of
reflects poorly on their reputation. We've worked very hard
to cultivate,
to maintain.
Right, but the innkeeper, the barkeep, the Snorri, the alchemist, the priest, most of the other merchants, the theater company, like for them, it's you don't just kill people.
You don't just kill people.
Yeah, like there are reasons, like if you end up dead because you committed suicide by doing something stupid, like you attacked the innkeeper, that's suicide. That's not murder. That's suicide.
Trying to snitch food off a Noel's plate. I mean, that's suicide.
Right. No.
If you're lucky, you'll come away with one hand. You'll come away a hand shorter. But
you pick a fight with the tavern's bouncer, which I think is an ogre.
Yeah.
I was gonna say troll, but that's too Discworldy. And also,
also trolls are so trollish.
Yeah, no,
Like,
ogres are just They're on the right side of things.
Yeah,
Or no. Maybe it's a hill giant. No, I like ogre better.
I like ogre better because a hill giant's not going to fit in the town.
That's why I was like, hill
And
giants are
he's gonna
almost
need
small.
a
Or
lot more
hill
food.
giants are almost small enough, but not quite.
Yeah. Well, hill giant's also because she's going to eat so much. It's probably not worth keeping.
No, I
her
agree.
around.
That's why that's part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the bounce. Yeah, the bouncer at the at the not at the inn because but at the big sort of
Right.
tavern. It's not an inn. It's literally just a bar. So it's not open as it's it's not an inn. There's a difference.
Right.
There are no
to
beds
drink
there.
and hang out. You don't go there to spend the night.
Right. It opens later. And the doors are open later because the inn does close its doors when it gets late enough because people are gonna sleep. All right. Yeah. All right. So we got a possible.
The doors close at dawn and they open up again for the lunch rush. Because that's how that's the kind of place it is.
Right. And then closes again for a while until dinner time.
Yep.
Another possible adventure seed, something to do with like there's. I like the idea of that, like outside of town, just like down the road a little bit. There's a wizard's tower. Like there's a local sort of lone wizard, sort of out there just doing research. Like he's doing research on the wastes. That's why he's there. He's there to research the gates as much as he can. He knows that he can't they're like directly fiddling with the gates is verboten.
Right.
But there are things you can study still, and he's really, really fascinated with the gates and the areas around them. Like, it's like, yeah, I've heard these legends about weird shit, but there's no actual weird shit there, except there's weird shit because it feels wrong. That's really interesting. I want to know why it feels wrong. What is it that causes this phenomena?
Could be that there's speaking of weird stuff with the wastes, could be that there's a persistent rumor that just won't go away and start seeing evidence that might not be just a rumor.
Okay.
Like some weird legend of something stalking the wastes.
Yes, I like that. Like there's some legendary beast that stalks the wastes that is almost never that no one ever sees.
Yeah.
But like it's
it's just, at first everyone just sort of like pisses it away. It's just another rumor of something in the wastes because they happen all the time. But you start seeing evidence of it. And that's when things get really weird.
Yeah, I like that. But I like to think that like my gut feeling is like if I was going to use this as like an early adventure, like an early area to have have adventures start happening in, is the players end up being hired to basically as caravan guards to get the caravan from somewhere to that town where they're going to pick up the next set of guards to go to the next town, to the next trading post. They don't have to go past. They basically see, yeah, your job is to come to escort us to this trading post. From there, we have other arrangements set up from there on. So you'll have to find work on your own once you get there, and it's basically getting the players to an adventure hub, basically. But like the first adventure is escorting caravan escort type stuff. So you deal with bandits and maybe some like goblin raiders and shit. And then you arrive at the outpost, and you see this weird shit, and it's like you've heard, like the players have all heard tales of this particular trading outpost, but like the tales don't do it justice.
Yeah,
and like some of the tales are like everyone's like scoffs, like yeah, the innkeeper's a werewolf, yeah, right,
sure.
And the players eventually find out that the priest of the death god is the most normal thing there.
Yes.
Which again, not that abnormal because they run a lot. They run a lot of church. They run a lot of. I imagine that, like for some armed forces, like their chaplain corps are often like mortis priests of mortis. Because who better do you want for last rites than a priest of death?
No, absolutely.
Which I imagine several priests of mortis find kind of like, but the kind of tiresome. It's like, no, I'm not a soldier. Why do people keep assuming I'm a soldier? Well, there's so many of the chaplain corps priests of mortis. I know, but I'm just a humble village priest, man. That's the thing. Again, is like Mortis is not actually like one of the things I like. Mortis falls into my long sort of my fairly. I don't know, it's somewhat recent, but I've become very fond of having the god of death in my fantasy settings not being sort of the dark awful thing.
Right.
Because I think it's more interesting to have death being a more being more. I'm trying to think of the right way to phrase it. I know where the conception of that sort of started for me was. It was with Sandman. Because Death and Sandman.
Yeah, I mean, making the
and then
approachable, the god of death being more personable. That's the word we're looking.
Yeah,
for, personable.
But and then Discworld really cemented it for me.
Yeah,
because Death in Discworld is legitimately might be the third or fourth best character in all of Discworld.
I want to argue you, but you're wrong. But that would be wrong to do so.
Because it's the best character in Discworld is Vimes.
Yeah.
Sir Samuel Vimes is the best character in Discworld. And then I think after it's probably Rincewind.
I don't know. Rincewind's fun, but
it's Rincewind's up in the list. Vetinari's up in there, Carrot's up in there. Detritus is pretty high on the list.
Detritus, Knobs.
Nobby's fun, but I don't think Susan,
yes, Susan's amazing.
Nobby's fun, but he's a great entertaining side character.
Yeah. I have a particular affection for side characters.
Oh, I totally appreciate that. I love Nobby also. Don't get me wrong, but for me, Nobby doesn't work quite as well without Colin at his side. Is the thing.
It's Nobby and Colin. They're the same character.
They are the two of them together, but they are independent characters on their own too. Is the best part about them, because Pratchett was so damn good at this sort of shit.
Yes,
but no, Carrot is. Angula also.
Yep, Carrot and Angula.
Angula's great. She's wonderful. And does not, and but yeah, Detritus becomes one of the best characters as the books go along. Oh my god, Detritus is great.
Detritus is great.
Dorful's fun, but isn't in there enough to be. That's the Golem.
Right.
The Golem Watchman, who's amazing. Moist Von Lipvig's fun, but
Moist is fun, but he doesn't have a lot of. For someone who stars on a lot of series, he doesn't have a lot of books. He doesn't have a lot of agency. Things happen around him and to him.
He actually has a fair bit of agency in his first book.
Yeah.
Going postally has a bunch of agency. It's making money where it's less so.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But it's literally, I think it's Vimes, Carrot, then probably Death, and then Susan.
Yeah.
But those, the thing is, Vimes and Carrot and Rincewind's probably in the top 5 also still. Rincewind's an amazing character. Just I'm not as big a fan of Rincewind's books, but I have a lot of respect for Rincewind as a character.
That's fair. I just wasn't that crazy about the Color of Magic or the Light Fantastic.
The thing is the Rincewind books get better as they go along. All the books do. Same with the Watch books.
Yep.
But the Watch books started at a higher
and
point.
The Witches books too.
Yeah. So yeah. Oh, Granny Weatherwax. How the hell did we forget Granny Weatherwax?
Motherfucking Granny Weatherwax. How is she not in there?
And Nanny Og.
Yeah.
Oh god, actually, Nanny Og. Og. Oh my god, Nanny Og's amazing.
Nanny Og is friggin' amazing.
Oh. Okay, we should probably wrap things up. We will spend the next half hour talking about Discworld.
Yeah, no shit.
Maybe an hour. We've done it before. Don't make us talk about Discworld for an hour.
Don't make us talk about Discworld. Holy shit.
We will not shut up. Because Discworld is one of those things that Eric and I agree wholeheartedly on for basically the same reasons, which is weird.
That is weird. Well, often the same things for entirely different reasons.
But yeah, I think we've got a good starting point here for a good beginning adventure area with lots of weird stuff, but it's an area where the low-level players can interact. and don't feel like they're completely out of place.
Yep.
Like, yeah, some of the stuff there is is too big is too big for the players to directly challenge, but they're not stuff that players are going to want to challenge. Like, by the time the players find out that the innkeeper really is a werewolf, hopefully they'll be friendly with him, because he's a good dude. It's just that he's a werewolf.
It's just that happens to be a werewolf.
And like, the chief the chief of the city watch. Yeah, he's a revenant, but he's a good guy. He's out to solve murders and do shit like that because that's what he does. And he's grumpy because he's upset about the reason he's grumpy is because he can't solve his own murder. Because he's not actually a good detective.
Because he's a terrible detective. He will eventually solve his own murder after several generations of the murderer passed.
Oh God, no! Actually, I like it. Here's the thing, Eric. He solved the murder, but he's a revenant. He can't take vengeance on it.
Right. Yes, because the guy had already died because it took him 30 years.
Right, but he's like, yes, I've got him cornered, and he's already dead. And it would be wrong for me to take vengeance on his family.
I could take vengeance on his. He didn't have a family.
No, I like the idea that he had a family, but like it's not punishment to the guy because he's already dead.
Yeah,
and the revenant and the guy, our revenant, still has it's yeah, he's driven by revenge, but he was a good person in life. So he's still got
yes. Like the murderer went to his grave with the secret of the murder. His family had no idea, and he worked really hard to make up for it by living a good life and being a pillar of the community and running a charity and everything else. Like, he might have been an evil bastard beforehand, but when it actually killed someone, he turned around, became just a really sweet guy and turned his life around. And the Revenant comes back 30 years later. It's like, fuck.
It's like, okay, well, I can't take vengeance on this family because they're innocents. They're actually innocents.
Guess I will destroy his legacy. He was a murderer. He killed me. Oh, I'm so sorry. Is there anything we can do to help? Fuck, that's not how that's supposed to work.
No. It's it's just that I can't.
Dad always did have a past he wasn't proud of. That doesn't surprise me too much. We're sorry. I'm sure he'd want to make restitutions. Like, is there anything we can do for you? Do you have a family we can help take care of?
I love that. It's like, yeah, but I don't think I can actually accept by the bonds of my.
But that's not.
This is not how things work.
Vengeance. That's not how it's supposed to work.
What the hell am I supposed to do now? I can't rest until I avenge myself on the one who killed me. That's what being a revenant is.
But he's already dead.
I can't have vengeance on him. What the hell do I do now?
I can't even destroy his legacy. I tried. That's something I like. He actually tried to destroy this guy's legacy, but because he's not terribly bright, he couldn't figure out how to do it, and felt really shitty about it. So he just retreated to this place and became the city king, the city watchman.
Yeah,
because he was being compelled by his curse to try to wreak vengeance by destroying his legacy, but he's not terribly bright, just persistent. And because there's enough of him as a person left, he felt really shitty because none of the people that he had to hurt to destroy the legacy deserved it. Right. They were all good people.
Well, again, yeah. So it's a case of, yeah, right, exactly. He's there's enough of his moral code, his moral code he had in life remains in him, which is why he's a cop.
Not only is it because he's trying, means he can try to bring justice to other people that have been wronged, but as a way of atonement for the shit he did when trying to resolve his curse. And that's why he's really, really grumpy, and that's why he hates hanging out with the priest. Because the priest reminds him both of what he has to do and what he's done.
Like, he knows, like,
Damn, we
literally
have
the only way he can
tragic
actually...
fucking watch captain.
Wow. He knows that the only way he actually can achieve rest is to actually to destroy the guy's family.
Yeah.
And he can't do it.
And he can't bring himself to do it.
Because that is wrong. And that's why the priest likes him.
Yes. It's entirely one-sided because the priest constantly reminds him of these things. Not even by actually saying anything, just hanging out with them. Just being in the same room.
Because, again, he's a priest of Mortis.
Right.
It's like, And the thing is, like, Mortis is not a big fan of most undead. Revenants are one of the few exceptions.
Right, because they're trying to find justice for themselves.
Right. And also there's a specific shelf life for them.
Right.
They've got a task. When the task is complete,
they move on. Yeah.
Right. And one of the things and again, there's something with Scholar. The priest finds this guy fascinating because the guy's caught in a loop.
Yep.
Like, because he can't, like, he does have a task, and if he completes it, he will get his rest, but he can't complete the task. Oh God, that's just...
Yeah. We have the saddest watch captain now.
Yeah. God, the other awful thing is that he desperately wishes he was a human just so that he could get drunk about this.
Yes.
It's like,
I can't still get drunk.
I can't even get drunk about this. Over this. I'm immune to poison. Ah!
He's tried everything the alchemist has.
Nothing works. Nothing works. Fine, I'm going to go find someone breaking the law and throw them in the slammer and yell at them for a while. That makes me feel a little bit better. Maybe I'll find someone who's done something really wrong and I can drag him to the knolls.
Put him on the block.
And while I feel crappy about that in some ways, it assuages some of my darker impulses. Anywho, we should probably wrap things up.
Yes.
On that cheery note. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys, if you guys found this useful or anything like that, I hope let us know. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on the if you got thoughts about the outpost and maybe adventure ideas or what have you, and things like anything you feel like sharing with us. We'd love to hear it. You can post comments to us on YouTube on the recording there, or you can email us. Our email address is surlygrognards@yahoo.com, surlygrognards@yahoo.com. Or if you've got questions for us you'd like us to answer in the show, we do usually try to save time at the end of each episode for viewer questions. We don't really have any this week, and we also don't generally do them on brainstorming episodes because we tend to run long on those.
Yep.
But if you do have them, we love getting those. We love answering you guys' questions. Send them to us. We love getting them. If you've got feedback for us, ways to make the show better, or if you've got show topic suggestions, dear God, we love show topic suggestions.
Those are really great.
So basically, things you like to hear us talk about. Let us know. We'll try to get to them when we see them. We record the show most Tuesday nights on twitch.tv/mechagm at around about 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Basically, the only weeks we don't is when either we really have nothing to talk about, or if we're doing the other podcasts we're involved in, which should be happening next week. We should be doing the next episode of 3 Men and Anime next week.
Yeah, we should be finishing that off next week.
So yeah, look forward to that next Tuesday. But that's going to do it for this week, guys. Thank you so much for helping us, for watching, and we hope you enjoyed the show. And that's going to do it for this week, guys. Take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your week.
Bye, humans.